everybody, and welcome to another show with Toffee Bluecast. We are live on YouTube, live on X, and live on Facebook. Do get involved in the comments. Your comments should pop up wherever you are. They'll come over from Twitter. If you do want to come over to YouTube, we do have more regulars in the comments in the YouTube for you to chat to throughout the show. For anyone that's new, what we do is we talk about both teams, then we'll look at both lineups, and then we finish with a score prediction. So it's nice, easy to play along, join along, and we do want to hear from you. We massively do get involved with you. We have got an opposition fan guest lined up for you just to give that a big head-to-head. We're not going to make it all Everton. We're going to make it slightly Chelsea as well, because we do like to know what we're up against, and we like this show to give you a view of everything, what's coming up. And this is a big game, people. This is a massive, massive game. If you can hit that like right now, we would appreciate it. Just we have had Simon on before, and he's cracking, and we do like him, by the way. But we have got a bit of rivalry in this game. How are we, Paul?
Yeah, not bad. We've just been chatting in the green room about our shoulder problems, haven't we, Dan? So I've got a trapped nerve in my shoulder. So there's a few drugs flying around, and you made sure that you saved the baby by not falling on it and hurting your shoulder. So we're injured, but here.
Yeah, do you know, like where you jump in front of a car to save your kid? That's what I did with Eiley. I mean, I would have. She just got me fall on top of her, which doesn't sound bad, but I'm quite an heavy man at the minute. So, but yeah, I had Liana behind me, up my arse that cropped me up, and I had Eiley in front of me where I was holding her. So 2 kids done me over. But luckily, I'm a good dad, and the only person that got hurt was myself, and I nearly dislocated my shoulder. But show goes on, people. Show goes on. We're Evertonians, and we fight with all of our minds and with dislocated shoulders.
Yeah. We do. I have 25 kids do me over every day of the week. No problem.
Well, I'm not going for 25, people. I am not going for 25. But Paul, obviously you are a teacher. And my plan was to say this as many times on the show as I can until you actually noticed. That's what me and Chloe said to do, until you actually noticed. Well, but I'm actually not going to do that. I'm just going to say it straight to your face, mate. 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7.
You know what? We had our school bingo.
Oh, 6, 7.
We had our school we had our school bingo last night. I don't know if I've gone off again. Internet's playing up a little bit tonight. Are you back, Dan? Or am I back?
It was me then, one.
Yeah, I'm back. We had our bingo last night, and I'm bingo caller. One of the many jobs that teachers do. And there's a new bingo call now. You can't do 88. People might get offended by that. But and like 11 and stuff.
We're getting some freezes. It looks like we are getting some freezes with
with us.
We are getting a few freezes on the show. I'm not sure what Wi-Fi it is, but we are getting a few freezes. Is it me? Is it Paul? Let us know in the comments. Who's the one that's freezing the stream up? It could be me. At least it's replaced. Yeah.
Not sure. Oh, no, it hasn't. That's still around.
I was just looking now on the links. We, like I say, work with us here anyway. We're just trying to get the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi's are decent and stuff. I don't know why they're not. Sometimes it can happen with weather or something like that, people. But we'll make sure we're both talking okay. And then, should we get the guest on, Paul?
Let's do.
Let's get him on, people.
Get him in.
How did Simon? You right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. As I say, voice has gone a long week in Italy, and my phone packed in. But we live to fight another day, fellas. Eh? How are you doing?
Yeah. Well, we just were struggling on signal now, so your phone's packed in. Wi-Fi wasn't working for us properly then, so maybe it's just not a week for the internet, people.
Yeah, well, at least each of us are having some technical problems.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, massive game, and we'll get straight into it, people. Like I say, if there is any glitches or anything like that, it makes it really hard for us. So work with us. We don't normally get it, so forgive us. We'll make it the best lesson we can, but we might have to work for a few because it seems to be testing us a little bit. But here we go. Chelsea, talk to us. Paul, have you got any form on them, or? Because I know sometimes you have.
I'll gather it up now. Let's ease us into this. To maybe make us a little scared before we show anything. Go on, Si.
The first thing that you've obviously got going for you tomorrow is the fact that Maresca has given the Manager of the Month award for November today, and you know what that normally means. And I've not got my negative head on; I've just got my factual head on. I think for the duration of this show, guys, let's not refer to Chelsea as Chelsea. You want to refer to them that I call them now Occasion FC. So stick a Liverpool or an Arsenal or a Barcelona in front of them at home, a different team, unbelievable. Everything else, it seems, just get by, and it's a big worry. You've gone to a few games recently. Leeds away. It's a horrible place to go. It's rainy. You look at the team, and it kind of unfolds in front of your eyes, really. It's a funny old time, and December has never been a good time for this football club in recent years, bizarrely. So it's it's a weird time. I know you'd say it's a big game. I think it's equally a big game for us as well for those reasons. I mean, you're in great form. We're not, but all those runs either come to an end or stop, don't they?
Yeah, I hate it when I've got a friend that's a Chelsea fan in my pool team, and he was like, "You'll beat us," and I hate people saying that. I hate it. I know that's a bluff. They'll say you'll beat us, but really they'll think that their own team will win, and it's just like a bluff. But it's like, you'll beat us. We've got loads of players out. We're not playing that well at the minute. Everton are playing well. I hate going into games as favourites. I prefer going into games as underdogs, to be fair, to try and break people's form.
Yeah,
you seem to be going into which is crazy to say, and that's no disrespect to us, Everton, because I think we're the best club in the world. But it's crazy to say that a big name like Chelsea, a football club like you're actually probably coming into this as underdogs, which is mad.
Yeah, in some ways maybe, but I think that corner has got to be turned at some point, and I think that graphic you've got up there is a great illustration. You've got 6 games. The early games, then you've got 4 of the most recent games. That's Chelsea Football Club in one, really. Consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, we're still good form.
I was there that day, Peter. By the way,
last time we won,
1994 was when the Matthew Harding lower opened and Paul Rideout scored the winner. I need to get out more, don't I?
Oh no, that's good fact knowledge. That is, I like that.
It's good sad knowledge, but yeah. But it's a difficult game because Everton are exactly the sort of team that we probably don't want to play against at the moment, because Moyes is a canny manager. He'll understand how to make it difficult for us. The crowd are going to be unsettled, I think, and young team again. It's all about the project. It's going to be a very, very testing game for us, I think.
Is that trusting the process?
Well, that's what you're supposed to say, but what is the process? I mean, it's literally a double-edged coin with Chelsea. We won the Club World Cup and we won the Conference League, which we should have won, qualified for top 4, albeit in the last game of the season. So that's not bad, but the progression year on year, we've got fewer points this season than last season. And yet, you know, put us against Liverpool or Arsenal or Barcelona, there's just, I just think it's old heads. If we had a player like Thiago Silva still in our side, I'm sure that some of those results wouldn't have happened. But that is, as you say, trust the process. And no one's gonna change that.
It's interesting because David Moyes in the conference, he got asked about what's the difference with Everton this season, and Moyes said he's been able to bring in players with Premier League experience, and he said before that he didn't feel that the players had that, and he says it's massive to have players with Premier League experience. And then they went on to talk about Chelsea and saying some of your young players maybe overseas haven't got that Premier League experience, and that's what sometimes can cost you. And it did make sense in my head, to be fair, because I think if it's your bread and butter and it's your trade playing in the Premier League week in, week out, you know what you're going to get with those players. And I think like Jack Grealish, Dewsbury Hall, and a few other players like Tarkowski, we've got a lot of experience in the Premier League where you have got a lot of players that have come overseas. And as we're learning with our new striker, Barry, who's got potential but is overseas and young, these young kids take a while to bed in, don't they? Are you feeling that with your players, Simon?
I think so, but also, you know, if you look at the team I've put together, and by the way, literally he could put any player in any position tomorrow. Seriously, I think we've had 6 right backs so far this season. So, you know, any prediction is wildly out the window. But also we've had players like Fofana. He was out all season last season. So he's just coming back in now. So it's almost like a new signing because he's not played with Chalobah much, you know. And then we've obviously got new signings and younger players like Esteval. Garnacho's got experience in the Premier League, but not necessarily with Chelsea. João Pedro, not with Chelsea. Palmer's missing, should be back tomorrow. Caicedo's, you know, I'm not pinning this on injuries. I'm pinning it on having a consistent core of players that seems not to be happening at the moment. And that's as much of an issue, I think, as having experienced players, because you can have a young team, but they need to play together more regularly and not. He's in midfield. Like Reece James is the best right back in the world, but he's probably going to play in midfield tomorrow because we're missing Lavia through injury. So I think sometimes it's having a settled centre back partnership, you know, and think those relationships on a football field are very important, and that's one thing where it's just not happening at the moment.
In the comments there, you've got 6 right backs. Can we have one, please? I've watched James, as you mentioned, play centre midfield, and he was fantastic, actually. I think he's probably man of the match the game I watched, so it was really good there. But we've had to do the same a little bit sometimes because Garner Gay got suspended, and we've had to pull an attacking midfielder deep to play the defensive role. And I think that's probably been one of your problems, is because Caicedo and Latvia are so pivotal on you playing well. Pulling an attacking player back in those positions, you just don't get the same effect, do you?
Yeah. Well, obviously Caicedo's red card, you could just tell at the start of that game he was too wound up. And I know he gets a lot of bad press, but apparently he's made more tackles than anyone else in the top 5 leagues in the last 3 seasons. That's his first red card. So I'm not going to dig the guy out. But Reece James's problem, he is an elite footballer at any position he plays. But yeah, I'd rather see him at right back, I have to say. But Lavia's injury problems mean that we haven't got that depth there, really. Thoughts on Delap? Again, injured, too eager, too keen. I think he's trying too hard. You know that, trying too hard. He hasn't convinced anyone yet, but no one's getting impatient with him because he's had injury problems and he's out again until January. So I think you can't judge a player even if he was played every game yet, but he's played a handful of games.
It's going back a bit, but I tell you who Delap reminds me of for us is when we bought James Beattie. Who was fantastic for Southampton, and we spent a lot on him. Yeah, but he almost went over the top in trying too hard. Got a red card early doors. Got injured. And was never really realistic for us. You know, he was a cracking. I thought he was a really good player, James Beattie, but he just never worked. Just never really worked consistently for us, and I wonder whether the Lap's going to end up being a similar kind of thing, really.
Yeah, well, we haven't got bizarrely as it may seem, when with all, I hear the 2 billion, but that's a gross spend. The net spend is, I think it's less than Arsenal's actually, but we haven't got a centre forward because João Pedro isn't a centre forward, and Chelsea haven't had a centre forward since Diego Costa.
No.
We've won things, we've had very good managers like Tuchel get a lot out of the squad. We won the Champions League with Havertz and Werner up front, for God's sake, but centre forwards are hard to come by now. You go back 15, 20 years, in the days of Shearer and Henry and Bergkamp and Van Nistelrooy and all those players, they just don't seem to exist in the Premier League anymore. Maybe football's changed in the way that the game's changed, but what you call an old-fashioned centre forward, there's not many of them about, are there?
No, it's very, strikers are becoming really rare at the minute.
No, teams are playing different ways now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Arsenal are similar. Arsenal are similar in having Havertz last season, and I wouldn't say Havertz was a out-and-out striker.
No.
And I think they probably got one of the final pieces in pulling and Perez. So maybe that's your next step then, is to, get the next Drogba, Costa, Kerry Dixon, whoever it may be.
You're showing your age now, Paul, as well. But I think the game's changed somewhat.
I really am.
I think the game has changed somewhat. You look at Arsenal top of the league, and they've not got a centre forward as such, have they? I think you're right. Players like Salah have changed the way that the game's played. You've got Haaland, but he's an exception. Irrespective of his ability, he is just unbelievable, and there's only one of him.
It's interesting because you mentioned Arsenal. They've got Gyökeres, but they're playing the midfielder as a striker instead of him.
Yeah,
and they're not playing the centre forward, and they've got the option of actually playing the centre forward. So some teams actually feel the benefit of playing a striker as a midfielder because I think probably they do more in the middle as well. They get back and they get untracked. I personally, would be playing a striker all day long. I can't see why teams do that.
Yeah, I agree, but sometimes it's stats and Opta and how managers view the game and work rate and yada yada yada. But if you've got somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net consistently, then that's just, it's a rarity. Again, Haaland, his consistency is incredible, absolutely incredible. But that's, we talked about Shearer, Van Nistelrooy, and on these players were spread very wide and far in the Premier League back in the day. I'm not going all misty-eyed, but I think, Paul, you mentioned that the game has changed. Look at Salah, he's not a centre forward. Look at the goals that he scores for Liverpool. Look at most teams' best players are actually wide players these days. You could argue Saka for Arsenal, probably Palmer for us, whereas he's not a number 9. He'll drift and move, and these players are the ones really that make the difference in games.
Yeah, well, the favourite sort of thing to do is play your right-footed left forward and cut in, and sort of, you're almost in some ways playing with a 3 up front, aren't you? In some respects. So I can understand the shout for different systems, definitely, and it does depend on who you've got. It does depend on who you've got.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I remember my first trips to Goodison were like Andy Gray and then Gary Lineker and, those sort of days. But that's going back even further, isn't it, really? And I'm really showing my age now. But, the game has just changed.
When you watch the football, it's like, because I watch all teams. I don't just watch Everton. I watch all football. And when I watch it, it's just, I think there's that much football being played that sometimes when you actually see a centre forward, he doesn't get used a lot. They don't pump it into him. Often I watch Manchester City and I think if you just pumped it into Haaland and put him one-on-one with a centre back, he'd destroy him. Because you see him do it internationally, like for his international club, for a fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You literally long ball into him. He'll cause so much havoc just doing that because I think Haaland, he'll beat the centre back probably 99% of the time.
Yeah.
So they don't do it though. Like they just and sometimes you'll watch them move the ball to the left, This is Man City. Move the ball to the right, move it, waiting for that perfect chance. And you can just see Haaland, he's not getting used most of the game. And I personally think sometimes he's so wasted. I'd try and use him at every point that I could use him as a striker when I know how. I mean, when, for example, Lukaku, he was effective for us, not for you, but Lukaku, we just get the ball into him at any point because he could just score. You don't even know when he could score or how he could score, but you know, if you just whack the ball into him, he'll run at the centre backs and he could probably go all the way sometimes. So,
was he the last type of that player at Everton?
Yeah, Lukaku is just irreplaceable for us. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
He was incredible. He was just 25 goals. Like, you knew he was going to get 20 goals minimum, and he was 25 goals. And
yeah.
If we had
a great player for
I generally think if we had Lukaku, we could probably win the league. I honestly think we could smash this season if we had Lukaku. Just because, like, we've got the most creative wingers we've ever had in Jack Grealish and Illiman and Jai, and then we've got Dewsbury all as well.
Yeah.
So I could see Lukaku scoring a bag of goals of fully fit in form Lukaku for us if we had him now, but we've got nothing like that at the minute.
No.
Well, we've got Barry.
Yeah. But he's, again, a new player finding his feet in the league.
Yeah, exactly. He's finding his feet. Have you got our form, Paul, before we go into the Chelsea lineup? Paul, until we put some lineup on, sorry.
Yeah, I can throw that back up.
Yeah, we are performing well now. But this game, we've just managed now, and it feels like it's the perfect challenge. No disrespect to other teams, but it feels like we've come up to some weaker teams. I know every team's good in the Premier League, but we've got some good results, and I think Chelsea's a big club to come up against now at a perfect time to say we've been good. We've got some good results. Now let's take on a big team to see if we're capable of getting a big result for me. That's what I'm feeling. There we are, look. It's not bad, is it?
All right. Well, lots of people's heads fell off after Newcastle, but if you know, the Bournemouth game was massive, really. It was a hell of a bounce back. And then you look at it, 4 wins out of 5.
Yeah. Well, Bournemouth last week, we were lucky to get away with the point. And I watched the Newcastle game with a mate, and it was like Newcastle came out on anabolic steroids, because this is the point, they were coming off a bad run. And it was completely clear that they were just told to literally go at full pelt for the first 10 minutes. And Everton just didn't probably anticipate it. Then they just got blown out of the water. You always expect the unexpected, but you can't. And it was so clear that Newcastle just went at them full steam. And I
watched them I watched Newcastle the other night in Europa League away, and that was not the same Newcastle that we got. Like you just said, it was just. I was really angry with us. I said we was half asleep and wasn't switched on. But like you said, it was. I don't think you would have expected Newcastle to come first minute, all guns blazing like that. And as much as we really did get frustrated with that result, but sometimes you get them, don't you? Sometimes you are just going to get a battering. You're just not going to be on it. So we couldn't dwell on it.
Look at the league table, guys. It's absolutely absurd. Two games ago, we were second, and now we're like 3 points off 12th or something like that. You know, it's just teams are just knocking points off each other. And is it a low quality league? A low quality league, or is it more competitive league?
It's so squashed at the moment.
Yeah. And as it continues to do that,
more competitive. I don't think it's low quality at all.
Yeah. I think the quality ain't quite there as well.
And I mean, if you do look at, well, I think if you look at some of the sides that are causing it to be squashed up, you know what I mean? Palace have got some really, really good players, but they're a good side and a very good manager as well, leading the way. And then you've got Sunderland going above and beyond anything anyone thought, even them, that they would do. And then you've also got one or two of the teams who would normally be higher up there, maybe not being as prolific. I mean, everyone's chuffed that Copites aren't getting anything at the moment. So, but they're not a million miles away. So, in terms of quality, you're only saying quality's not there if it's maybe those teams who are normally away and above everyone else who've dropped. But I do think the quality from other teams, like one or two I've mentioned have made a step up, including us at the moment. And that's why we're enjoying it as much as we can. The next two games for us against yourself and Arsenal are huge for us.
Yeah, I've seen you Arsenal.
We don't expect to win either. We don't expect to win either, really. But if we did get something out of that, that could, God, our heads would fall off then in the right way.
Well, it's just before Christmas as well, isn't it? Such a good time to get some results under your belt. We've got Newcastle away next Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. Jeez, yeah. So how much the players know that is a tough game, and players will know that hypes up even more the importance to get a result tomorrow, which isn't the best way to look at a game sometimes. But hey ho, one game at a time, isn't it? We'll say that, but I'm sure that actually the players don't see it that way. They'll know.
Yeah, I'm on top of the world at the minute. I'm doing TikToks every day dancing about Everton because I'm just loving them. I've never loved my football club this much in a long time. It's been pure depression, relegation battles to now. I love so many players. I've got really good players in my team and I'm liking them. And as we just put the results up, but the Premier League table, I feel because a lot of teams can't pick up regular results, this is the best chance ever for Everton to do well because we've won 4 in 5. So I'm thinking now if we can make this 5 wins in 6 and then get a result against Arsenal, we've got some nice easier games coming up after that, and we could really. I think if you just put yourself in the mix at the top end of that table and see what you can do, and Moyes can bag 3 points. We've seen him get Europa League with West Ham. He can start bagging points if he gets the players right and gets the dressing room right. So for me, as an Everton fan, you've got to realise an opportunity and a chance when you get one. And I don't think the league will be like this again next season. So I really want to jump on this opportunity because I feel we've got the players to do it. But this game is massive. This game will say to me, if we end up beating you, I'll be really excited about us doing something special this season. But if we lose it, the league's that bad that you could lose the next game and end up thinking relegation battle, get away from it again. It's that bad. So
I don't think
nervous.
I honestly don't see that. I think for me, that game against Man United away was probably pivotal in more ways than one. It was the fact that you're away there. Moyes was going back there. You're playing for so long with 10 men. You got a winner. There's so many little factors in that game that have helped to reinforce what Moyes is doing, I think. And the irony is, again, you're talking about how ridiculous the league is. They're 1 point in front of you. And yet that game, you would have thought you'd have been 10 points in front of them. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. One win actually separates all the way down to Newcastle in 12th.
Yes, yeah.
Yourself in 5th. So
exactly.
It really, it really can make. Well, that's where when we won 2 in a row, like the Fulham game, like we beat Fulham at home, then there's an international break, and then we beat Man United. That really sort of moved us away from anyone sort of wondering where we were going to be involved in that sort of bottom 5 group. But 2 wins can really propel you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You've seen that. Your recent form is very, very good.
Rod here says our squad isn't. I've seen Rod here say our squad isn't sustained for a push. We're worried because we have got Gana Gay, who is we need him massively, and Iliman and Jai, they're going away international. So we're worried on that a little bit. But I have made the statement that if we get ourselves in a good position, I think we can bring in the bodies in January. If the owners see that we can have a little bit of something this season, they'll probably invest. It will make them think more about investing into us and bringing the right players in if we just get in the mix of top 4 for January. But
I think that's quite an interesting thing about a sustained push. I mean, without obviously coming out with a rubbish Simon Kirby joke about gynecology, I don't understand. Everyone's got a different interpretation, should I say, of what a sustained push is. What is a challenge for top 4? What does that mean? Everyone's got a different. Chelsea have said they need to challenge for top 4. Well, last season we got it last game of the season. So for me, that means getting it 6 games. What is it? And I think that's the weird thing about football and how we gauge success. I'd have thought, and I'm not disrespecting Everton because it has got a soft spot for me. for many years. But surely, like, gunning for a European place is where you want to be at this season. At the moment, that's where you're at. And it's just about sustaining it, isn't it, really? And, am I right? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Oh, well, I mean, if you ask Dan, we're going for the title. But if you ask him when he's being slightly serious, then we would just be looking for an improvement on what we were doing last season, and that might get us that kind of around the 8th spot, which would get you kind of European Conference. The way that we're playing at the moment, we're enjoying a good spell, but it's the likelihood is that it's just a spell, and that it's how long does it take you to recover from a defeat? Yeah. And so in the last, obviously we get beat against Newcastle, and bam, we're winning games again.
Yeah, that's the most impressive thing.
That is it's bounce back ability.
Yeah, exactly.
An actual word and everything.
No, it's true. And that is the most impressive thing about this league, what Everton have done. Because that was a very damaging home defeat in the manner of it and the unexpected nature of it. And bounce back ability is what's needed in this league, as you mentioned, Paul, because of the tightness of all the places. You've got to bounce back straight away.
Yeah.
And that's one thing Chelsea haven't. We lost horribly at Leeds. I mean, it's horrible. Bournemouth, we got away with a point. Atalanta, half-time, he makes these weird substitutions, and I'm just yearning to get outside the ground after 3 passport checks and go to and find a bar and drink myself silly, which is what I did. So it's that is exactly the word that we were lacking at the moment. But I'm not saying we're never going to win another game, but to come back straight away from a bad defeat that's what you need.
Yeah, and I think actually, without putting too much of a kicking into one or two of the supposed top sides, when you look at Liverpool having lost a game and then lost another game and then so on, and Spurs obviously in their form as well, draw a game, lost, draw. It's the teams that are bouncing back after a defeat, like Palace, win, loss, but then won again straight after. Brighton, draw, loss, win 2 games on the bounce. Then it says a lot about the character of those teams, and I think sometimes it shows that a team can go much further than a club that has many famous players.
Oh yeah, well look at the league table: Palace, Brighton, Sunderland. Look at Bournemouth and Brentford. They're established Premier Leagues. I have this argument quite a lot. Our club's associated with money, whether you like it or not, and you can't escape that fact. But it genuinely isn't all about money. Look at, say, some clubs have got phenomenal managers, and they eke out every last bit of resource that they can, and that it happens. It's more often than not as well. Teams at the Championship, all three don't always all go down. I think they did last season, but it doesn't happen now at all, and I think that's good for the game.
There's a lot more to football than what people think, because sometimes you just see like Chelsea having like 25 good players, and you think you're on a game of FIFA, and you think, oh, these are going to smash the season. But as we've learnt this season, we've got a better bench, and just having a better bench sometimes has caused us more of a headache, because you think Alcaraz isn't getting a game because Dewsbury Hall's playing good in that 10, and then Tyler Diblin's not getting a game because we've got Grealish and Iliman and Jai, and keeping all the players happy. That's the thing. Keeping your whole squad happy is massive. And Chelsea have got a big squad as well. It's just keeping the whole camp happy. Sometimes this is why you've probably seen it with Crystal Palace or Nottingham Forest last season, because they had the same 11 week in, week out, and there was just informed players. It's easier. It's easier for a manager because it just picks itself and know what they've got to do. Yeah. Your subs are just backup players, like they had, say, Nottingham Forest. They've got Yates coming in. You don't want to play him, but he comes in and just does the job. And it's just easy. And I think that's when teams do well. If I think back to when we had David Moyes back in the day, we played the same 11 players all season. Didn't get injured, and they just played better and better and better together because they played with each other week in, week out. Where I think too many players can be a headache. I've seen it with a lot of teams. I've seen it with Man United. I've seen it with Chelsea a little bit. Manchester City is a big example. And the best example is those Copites as well. They've gone and spent 450 million and they just can't gel together. So it just shows you sometimes it can cause a lot of a headache.
No, I agree. I think sometimes you can have too many options And I think with Maresca, that's sometimes his problem. He started, a lot of Chelsea fans who don't like him call him Pep Light. He can overthink things. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And again, I know you sound like a dinosaur. You can't go back to, let's say, centre back partnerships. You can't go back to Mountfield and Radcliffe and those sort of things. But it's such an important pairing, and every other game it changes, and it's almost like you have a go this time, and you've got Fofana's had an injury, I know, but some of the players, they're just not at that level, and they need to play competitive games, but they need to play competitive games consistently.
Yeah, I know this is going off the finger a little bit, but I play at Pool and I got dropped, and it took me a while to get my confidence back up once you get dropped sometimes. It can happen the same in football. You know you're good, but sometimes you just take a drop and it makes you question yourself. And you just go cold for no reason, even though you're a good player, just because you got dropped. It's such a mental thing football is as well. You just don't get that game sometimes, or you come off, or for example, our striker just 2 goals not counted. He struggled a little bit. So it's such a mental game. It is. We think they're robots, don't we? We think
I better not go down the Todd Bowley rabbit hole, because we'll be here until a week Sunday. But that's that's an issue in itself.
Psychology stuff. You could go into that psychology stuff for about 2 hours, couldn't you? We had a psychologist on one of the shows, and it was really, really interesting. Let's get your lineup on the screen then. I think I've done your lineup.
This was horrible. This was horrible for all the reasons I've said.
I think I've done it wrong as well, because I got confused because I did it last minute.
I watch the team every week.
And I did it last minute, and the thing is, I think I've got it wrong.
No, that's right. No.
Have I?
No. I see what you've done now.
Up top. What I think I've got wrong. Let me just see if I think I'm right. Where you said Pedro, I thought it was Pedro Neto.
No, João Pedro.
I did think that.
Yeah, João Pedro, because normally I'd say Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto busts his what every game, and again played a lot of game time. I think he'll rest him, and I thought he'd play Estevao in midweek, but what do I know? But I think he'll play Estevao out there and put João Pedro up front, because we don't really have a number 9 as such. João Pedro's not a number 9. He's not like Delap who can hold the ball up. But that apart, that's what I've gone for. Listen, if I get that right, then I'm going to go and buy a lottery ticket tomorrow.
It's the 2 Pedros that confuse me, and I know I've been watching you, and Neto's been playing so well, so I'm thinking, does he want Pedro Neto in his team, or does he want the Pedro striker in his team? And I did have a feeling. I thought, but then I did think, is Neto not fit?
Neto's played so much game time recently.
Yeah,
I think that I was surprised he did anything at all on Wednesday, but his effort is unbelievable. He's just a workhorse, but you can't keep flogging players. No, I keep saying about playing players regularly, but you're playing. Look up, I've got a League Cup game midweek, Cardiff. Champions League game. There's games, 2-3 games a week at the moment. So that's the only bit I'd said, but the rest of it is what I'd have gone for, and I'm putting Reece James in midfield because I think that is where football matches are really won and lost these days. I know we talk about wide players and their impact, but the physicality and the battle in midfield is really where teams can impose themselves, create a base for their attacking players.
Yeah, I know. I think you've been playing Chalobah left back sometimes, haven't you? You've had to make shift with your defenders.
Well, Chalobah's played. I think Chalobah's played right back. Fofana's played right back. Gusto's played right back. Reece James has played right back. Casado's played right back. And I think there's somebody else who I've completely forgotten. But we're only into the sort of the second week of December. So played 6 right backs.
Cole Will, that might be coming back soon. That'll be massive for you as well, won't it?
Out for all season, probably.
Is he? Oh, my days. That's a big loss, isn't it? Yeah, you have a bit of bad luck, really, when you look at it. Because for how good I know a squad you've got if all your players was fit, that's quite a little bit off it for me, because your only defensive midfielder is David James, who isn't really a defensive midfielder. So
Reece James, mate, good sign.
But it's
David James,
still got some good
I'd
players.
love
Yeah,
to play
exactly.
against David James. That'd be awesome if he was right back. Might have a chance.
But your
I'd agree with it.
your comment there about Estevao, I think he's going to be an incredible player. He's only 18, very level-headed. Suits perhaps Champions League games more because of the physicality and intensity of Premier League games. But he's one of those players that is great coming off the bench because he lifts the whole crowd. You know, that hasn't happened at Chelsea since we had Hazard. Really, he's got that wow factor. And I'm not disrespecting Cole Palmer either. But what this kid does is like his ceiling is immense, but it ain't going to happen overnight. You can't expect him to do it week in, week out. And I was very disappointed not to see him play on Wednesday because those Champions League games are really built for him. Premier League games, that's why I put Garnacho in. So
I've heard he's going to Manchester City for 120 million.
Who is? Estevao.
You're Brazilian, yeah. Manchester City, 120 million done already. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's rubbish, isn't it? I mean, the only downside is that the ownership and their trading of players. The player churn at Chelsea is too high. You know, you've got to have a settled squad and add to it. You know, they've just been round and round and round. So you got Casado and Enzo have been there a while, and James, and Palmer's into his sort of third season. So you've got to keep these players. You've got to keep them and just have a core of players. And this is the real crux of it. The real crux of it for me.
We always ask these questions when someone puts a team up. Which player do you feel, when you look at your team, could be a threat that we will struggle with? And which player do you feel has got a bit of Mr. Bean in him?
Mr. Bean?
Yeah.
I'd say Gusto, because he likes to invert his fullbacks. Gusto ends up in midfield, and he hasn't got the ball control to play that role. Reece James has, but he's been playing him there. I think in a way, I think Reece James is the player that I think you saw against Arsenal. I think that's the game you're referring to, guys, where he was outstanding. You know, his ball retention, he just ran the midfield, and he's a right back. And I think that is a really important area, particularly the way that Moyes likes to play, you know, very aggressive. And whilst Palmer's there, I know he's got a very good record against Everton. It's his first game back after a bit of a layoff. And again, I don't want to raise that expectation too high, but he's a maverick of a player. He can do anything on his day. So I think Reece James is really important for us tomorrow. That's if he plays there, you know.
I'd go so far as to say, in the last probably 5 years of football I've watched, that Palmer performance against us where he got the hat-trick was the best I've seen a player in a very long time. That was one of the best games I'd seen a player, the way he just I think he megs one of our players. It really hurt me, actually. Took me a while to get over it. But
Branthwaite, it was his first goal.
It was Branthwaite as well, which he megged my goat. I'm not happy. He megged my goat, and he scored a hat-trick. So I was feeling about that, but we're not the same team. So if you think you're coming up against that sort of team, it's not going to happen.
I think that was part of his problem. His levels in that first season were insane. I mean, he scored from the halfway line, didn't he? You know, on his weaker foot, it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
He wasn't as good. There was so much expectation. Then it went after that. After he did that against Everton, I think it was like he hadn't scored in ages. I know there was a lot of people saying he hadn't scored in ages, and I was thinking, how's that man not scored in ages when he was that good against us? And he just was struggling to score, which I found crazy.
Yeah, but on a one-off game, you look at what he did against PSG. Just he embarrassed them. So, but I don't know. It's the hardest thing of all, guys. And I love doing this with you. Is I've never struggled to pick a team like I have this time. It literally could be completely wrong because I just don't know what goes through the manager's mind sometimes. You know, right backs in midfield, centre backs at right back. You name it, he can do it. So that's just. I'm kind of going on who's played this week and my gut feel, really. And I say I really could be wildly out.
Well, I was listening to. I did listen to. No offense, Si. I just came across this other Chelsea show, and I was just listening for a few minutes, and the way
Which
they were
was that
talking.
Fancast?
Oh, it was American. It was an American one,
Oh,
to be honest. It was a little.
Saka.
Yeah, it was. It was very much that. But they were talking about your centre backs, and I was surprised how often the centre backs have been swapped, like you were saying,
Yeah.
a settled side and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
said about Fofana being arguably your best centre back, but maybe not playing as often as someone else that you've also had in alongside Chalobah.
He's injury prone, isn't he? And that's the problem. He had a season off last season practically. And I get the fact that they need to reintroduce him, but you know, if you're that brittle in the Premier League, it's going to find you out. And so it's a difficult one. But we're missing Colwell. But you've also got Tosin, you've got Badia Shield, you've got Hato, who's coming from Ajax, who's a kind of hybrid, right? You know, and they're all getting game time. But it's those relationships. Fernandes and Caicedo have played consistently in the middle now for a couple of seasons, and when they're together, you can see that relationship. It works. Yeah. It works. And Caicedo not being in, he is our most important player. He may not be our best player, but he's our most important player. Take Caicedo out of this team, and he's weakened massively, because James can do the job, but you're missing James playing in another position. You can't. He's just irreplaceable for us, really. And that's you know, every Chelsea fan would say that.
Simon said that he struggled to pick this team for. I think the real reason that he struggled to pick this team, people, is because he is so scared of what he's coming up against. And this is Paul's team. He knows he's coming up against the famous EFC. This is Paul's lineup. Get your lineups in the comments. I know we've already been putting it up on the show as we've been going along. Paul's been putting it up. Get your lineups in the comments and we'll put your lineup on. But this is Paul's. Talk to me.
Are they all? Yeah, well, it comes. The conversation this week for a lot of Evertonians was about Gana Gay's available. Do you play him? You know, it's basically this game, and then Gana Gay and Dial go off to AFCON. So do you bring him in? You know, do you not bring him in? Do you play everyone else you played before? And I just thought it's a different game than Forest at home, you know, and obviously he's not available for that one. But if I had a choice, I could still see us playing what we'd played anyway, because I thought that really worked, and we were on the attacking foot, you know, on front foot, and we had a purpose. We had to get the first goal and be prominent in that first half. I don't think we have to be that against Chelsea away, and I think it's the kind of game that Gana Gay could get his teeth into, particularly if Caicedo was missing. You know, he could maybe dominate and sort of winning the ball back in those places. It may be a little change you do later on. So it comes down to how you feel about Gana Gay coming back for a game and then going off to AFCON. And then the weekly question of, do you play James Garner in the middle of midfield or do you play him right back? And then it kind of goes from there. So I'm a massive advocate for us playing Garner right back, because I think we keep the ball better. I think we're calmer. I think James Garner can feed the ball into the likes of Dewsbury Hall, Alcaraz, and Dye, most importantly. So it's not always in the air, because Jake O'Brien, if you don't play Garner right back, you play Jake O'Brien. And as good as Jake is, he's not as good at keeping possession, finding those passes that James Garner can. He's obviously got his other strengths, which might sort of sway Moyes' thinking, offset pieces and the long throws that have been mentioned in the comments and stuff like that. But that's the way I would go. I wouldn't want to take Alcaraz out the side, to be honest. I think he linked really well with Dewsbury Hall, with Ndai, and I think the Forest game was a good indication of what we can do when we play that particular way. And James Garner's the catalyst for that. He's almost like the starting pistol of it. So when we actually get the ball in those positions, he dictates how we can start the move. And it's a different start when we have Jake O'Brien. So that's why I've gone Garner right back and brought in Gana Gay for one game.
I just want to thank you, Simon, like so much, because you've given us an incredible player. Dewsbury Hall, all my days, people. Dewsbury Hall is like. What hat that is? Oh no! All jokes aside, obviously dancing with the ears. That's a good hat, though, isn't it, people? That's a unicorn. It's my daughter's, but I really.
That's the only reason you. That's the only reason you've had another child is so you can go into these shops,
mate. You should. I've brought my. I'm not even joking. Santa's got my 11-month-old baby a digger electric that picks stuff up, and she's a girl. But I can't wait to use it. But yeah, this is mad because it's air and it pumps them up. But yeah, let's forget about the hat anyway. That's a cool hat. But no, all jokes aside, Dewsbury Hall, what an incredible player. And I look at your lineup that I just put up earlier on, and I think Dewsbury Hall would easily get in now with the way he's playing. And I think he'd massively help you with you struggling in the centre of midfield. And the Chelsea fan in my pool team, he said when we got him, and I know you probably would have said the same, he says, I didn't want Dewsbury Hall to go. He said he's a fantastic player. And what a player he is for us. I mean, we've been crying out for a good number 10 for a very long time. We've had Decore in there that can't control a ball at times. I love him because he kept us up, but he just didn't have good feet. And we've had Dewsbury Hall come in that position that is so tidy with his feet. He's got scoring ability. But what I also like about him as well is he doesn't half graft and put in a shift and put the tackles in and work hard. He's a box of dynamite as well as that. So he's probably one of our best players at the minute. And I love Ndiaye Grealish as well, but he has been fantastic. And we got him from you, so I had to mention that, Dewsbury. What's your thoughts on that? Because he's been incredible.
I think it just wasn't working out for him at Chelsea. He played a lot of Conference League football, but no one ever, he put a shift in and he was a proper professional. And it was a strange purchase because he was with Maresca at Leicester. So, who buys players these days? Is it the sporting directors, the manager? I don't know. It works at any club, least of all Chelsea. But it must have been something to do with Maresca buying him in. So him leaving after one season was a strange one, really, because he was clearly a manager's player. And, what was it? I think it's the Wonderwall song Wonderwall, and You're My Dewsbury Hall. That was quite a good Chelsea chant last season. But it was a strange one for him to come in the first place. Whether he'd get in that side now on his Chelsea form is a different question. But sometimes, you get a player who actually plays better for a certain manager for no other reason than that manager can get more out of him. And that looks to be the case with Moyes. That's all I can say. And whether that's a slight on Maresca and a credit to Moyes or a bit of both, I don't know. But he's certainly not. He's looking more of a player now than he did when he was with us. And he was okay with us, don't get me wrong, but he's looked like he's gone up a notch.
Yeah, he looked like when he won the Europa, when you won the trophy for him, he was chomping at the bit, but he felt like you'd won the trophy with you and didn't play much, so didn't deserve it in my eyes. And I think he wanted a challenge where when he wins stuff and he wants to be the main man. And
also regular game time.
Yeah, when he comes,
you're never going to improve as a player if you're never going to get regular game time, are you? You're never going to get better.
No,
doesn't matter what club you're at. And I respect him for whatever the reasons are. And he looks like a proper good pro as well. He looks like a proper good guy. He seems to be respectful. And if you've got a good pro in your team, and I think that's something that Moyes would like. I don't think he likes fancy Dans, does he? He's very much a believer in good men, and so he probably fits the profile as well.
Yeah, he's a bit old school into Dewsbury, and like you say, I think he come very hungry. When we signed Dewsbury Hall in the press conference, we all said his interview was fantastic. He was like one of those players that looked like he just really wanted to play football. Yeah. He wanted to be loved, and he just wanted to play football. Like he was just itching. You could tell he loved football. Basically, you don't. It sounds stupid to say they love football, but some of these high-paid players sometimes you feel like you don't even know whether they care if they're playing or not, as long as they're getting the wage. But Dewsbury Hall looked like he played for Everton for like £10 a game or something like that. He just looked so passionate. He's that person. If he was allowed, he'd probably play Sunday League as well because he just loves football that much, Dewsbury Hall. And that got me excited for him. And I'm just so happy
Yeah.
As you just said, it was no bad blood or anything like that.
No.
Maybe
And I
he
think
would
it's
have
great that
performed.
it's worked
Who
out for him.
knows?
It just wasn't
Yeah.
working out for him. So, it's just one of those. Who knows? But this is what I mean about player churn. At some point you've got to have more of a settled squad. And if he wanted out, then there's no bad blood. Then, there's no loser really.
Yeah, well, it's when they leave and then
Number
they
10 's
slag the
good.
club off afterwards, but he's not done any of that. So
No, he's not. No,
it's fair
play to him. And he won't even. He won't. So I've speaking to some guys out in Italy saying, what are the odds on the Dewsbury Hall top bins winner in the 89th minute to make it 1-0? And just you go, oh, okay, let's see.
Put him on the cover. I sneaked him
Yeah.
on the cover. That's all I'm thinking is Dewsbury all against Chelsea. I just love an ex-player against his old club. And like I say, he's got no bad blood either. But I just know, me personally, if I come against a club that didn't play me all the time, because obviously you had Palmer in form in that position, so I understand it. But that didn't. Kieran Dewsbury would have thought he had something to give. So I think now he's playing, he'll want to perform against Chelsea. And I'm really interested to see. It can go the other way, people. It can be that they play the old club and they play crap. We've seen that sometimes. That they bottle it against their old clubs. So you don't know. But I'd like to think it goes the good way on this. What have we got in the comments on the lineups, Paul? Because we did your line. I'm with you on that lineup, Paul. I'm not even going to question it. I think that's the right lineup because personally, you could play the same as last week and not play Garner Gay. But I feel with Garner Gay going, let's just use him. Do you know what I mean? Let's just use him and keep the other players fit. You've got to use him. And plus, Garner Gay for us is like, he's like, who's the centre midfielder that you got the red card for you?
Casado.
Casado. I remember the stats last season. It was Garner Gay and Casado who got the most tackles, and they were smashing it together. So when Garner Gay got the red card, by the way, we was fuming. We were saying we can't. And the first game that we played without Garner Gay was Newcastle, and you can imagine what Everton fans are like. Look how much that's cost us now. Look, we felt like that result was just because we didn't have Garner Gay. Luckily, the game after that, we did defend a little bit better without Garner Gay, but you've got to play him with his back for me because he is a good player.
Yeah.
Well, what have we got in the lineups?
True. Yeah. Well, plenty actually. Here's pause. He's actually having O'Brien centre with Tarky.
Give me a sec.
So Sir James and Tranmere right back. Zar, O'Brien, Tricky Tarky, and then Silas Salah. Nico is left back. He's actually got Garner and KDH as the centre two. He's got Dibbling on the right hand side, and Dye on the 10, and Man Crush Jack on the left, with the beautiful Big Barry as striker. Peter said that his team protects Garner from a fifth yellow. He's got to be. He will eventually get a yellow. Everyone, he will, and then he'll have to have a game off unless he survives.
You two will know, Paul. When that fifth yellow, is there a point where that ends? Is there a cut-off date on the fifth yellow?
It's in January, isn't it? I think.
I believe so.
Yeah. So I think he's got. I read someone say that he's got another 4 or 5 games to survive getting a yellow.
You might be able to do that. You never know.
I'd be shocked, to be honest. A few people are saying that they wouldn't change from the side that we had against Forest. I can understand that. Why change a winning side and all that sort of stuff? Change Garner for Charlie is what Rod would say. This is Peter's saying that it would protect Garner by not playing him. So O'Brien right back, Tarky Keane middle, Mick on the left, Garner Gay and Rubenham as your two centre mids. KDH, I presume in the 10, and Dye right, Grealish left, right up front. I'll come back to our emoji people in a moment. Danny reckons O'Brien, Tarky, Keane, Miko. Actually, Garner, KDH, and Garner. Interesting. I think that's maybe suggesting James Garner in the 10. I presume maybe it's KDH in the 10, or just 3 across, and then Grealish and then Dye behind Barry. Next in, he's gone with Garner at the back, in right back. In fact, it's, as we said before, Dan, So Garner Gay alongside KDH as your middle two. James Garner plays at the right back position. James agrees as well. So let's get to our emojis. We'll go Emma first. So we have got Pickford in goal. We've got the Gardner, or James Gardner, like David Moyes sometimes calls him, at right back. We've got our Giraffe in O'Brien alongside, is that Tarks? Yes, it must be. And then Miko at left back. Grealish with his sexy legs. And Garner Gay in the middle with KDH. And then Endai on the right-hand side with Champagne Charlie in behind Barry Island.
You've got 12 players there, haven't you?
We might well have... No, you mean the two legs are one player?
How are they? I thought you were showing off by playing one-legged players.
Well, there's been times, Si, that we've had to do that. Thankfully, we've got a little bit. We've got 1 or 2 pennies now we can spend on two-legged players. So thankfully, that's worked out. Wormy's gone for Little Arms Pickford in goal. That is, I forget, what was the zebra thing again? We did say. You remember, Dan? I presume it's James Garner. You remember who the zebra was? Can't hear. I think your mic's off. I'm sure you were talking a lot of sense.
Yeah, I keep forgetting why it is Garner, but I think it is Garner. These emojis are a lot more testing, ain't they? These ones, and we got them, and I still forget.
Yeah, Wormy works on it a little bit wider ranging than Emma. We're used to Emma's. Emma's are comfortable emojis. Wormy, I just sometimes think he's winding us up. Like there's a lemon in there somewhere. I'll have to come back to that in a second.
Is this the first season you've done this emoji thing?
Yeah, Emma's done it since we've started, pretty much.
Oh, really?
Emma's been a long-standing supporter. Wormy's jumped on the emoji train with his own style. So it's us trying to get our heads around it.
It's actually opened my eyes because I think this is what Maresca does. He puts this up and players have to guess who's playing. So I think this is actually quite revolutionary and somebody's got a way into the Chelsea camp here.
Well, I would love it if we found out that I'm sure it won't be Moyes doing this, but if all of the players' emojis were put in their places when they go and get changed.
What is the zebra? What is the zebra, Wormy? Like, tell us again. Like in the comments, I can see people saying, what's the zebra? That's the only thing that confuses here, because obviously Dinosaur's Pickford. Emma likes the peachy one for him, Pickford's bum. The zebra, I can't link that to James Garner, but I presume it's him. Giraffe is Jacob Ryan, 6'6". The trophy, Tarkowski with his big ears, big ears.
Yeah.
The bandage, Mikolenko cut his head once, and we all remember it. The flag, Garner Gay won't wear the rainbow laces.
Mm.
The house, Dewsbury Hall, posh man.
Stately home. Yeah.
The lemon.
No about that lemon.
No,
I mean the goat is Endai. I presume the socks. Oh, low socks for Grealish, and then it was the other one.
Barry Island.
No,
trees
the lemon.
Barry Island.
Who's the lemon? Don't know. A Ruben?
We gave it a good go.
We do, and I can't. At the moment, I can't see the live comments. So, but that's
next time you do your lineup, Simon. What you've got to think to yourself is, if you're struggling to pick between two players, just think what would be an easier emoji for that player, and it'll probably make it an easy job for you.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, I think we're playing you in March, aren't we? So I'll start now. I'll start on Christmas Day.
Yeah. We probably won't get it.
Exactly.
Oh dear. So yeah, it's pretty positive, and there's not a great deal of range just because of the amount of players that maybe we've got available. But yeah, I think it's either people are tossing up between having James Garner right back or and then Garner Gay being brought in or not. So
I
it's nice to have the choices, because like last season before that, we could barely get the 11.
Yeah, I do sense a different sort of sense of positivity.
Yeah,
with you guys and some of the comments I'm seeing compared to since I first started doing this with you guys. So I can it's quite interesting because I get to chat to you twice a year. Luckily for you, only twice, but you do sense that there's a whole different mindset within the club at the moment.
Yeah, it's a weight. It's a weight is off. That's the thing. I think more of even as Evertonians, even with us in the top half in the previous few weeks or whatever, we were still looking at the fixtures of the bottom 5.
Yeah, exactly.
And thinking, they could do us a favour, couldn't they? Come on, West Ham. Stop. Maybe if West Ham got beat, maybe that's better for us.
Yeah,
that sort of stuff.
I understand.
Yeah.
The best way to put it from me is like, if I think like when we was on to you in the past, we had wingers like Dwight McNeil and Harrison who we expected they could work hard, but there wasn't wingers that took on players. There wasn't that obviously exciting players, and we had a team that just worked hard. But sometimes when we come up against, like, so for example, you or Man City, it felt like they had better players, and all we could win a game by was working hard and long ball. And that was so draining as a fan for me, because I honestly felt like everyone we come up against had better players. But now, just this last transfer window and the one before that, Jack Grealish, I feel like he's better than most wingers we come up against. I feel he'll take them on and he's good. And Illiman and Jai, he's got so much skill on that side as well. So I feel people are worried about us, where I wouldn't even expect my wingers to take a player on. But now we've got such exciting players. And after so many seasons having players that are nowhere near capable of what these players are now that we've got, after putting up with that for so long, I've just thought to myself now, and I know it can be going over the top, but I've just thought to myself, just enjoy it, because you don't know whether you're going to keep those players or how long you're going to have those players, or whether I don't want to be negative, or whether you end up
I
not
completely
playing as
agree.
well. Yeah, so yeah, and we are loving it at the minute, and it's a massive, like, it's a good base now, I feel. A really good base. And I think Moyes, as you pointed out, is a good manager as well to try and build something now.
He's definitely the right manager for you from what I can see. And that's got really nothing to do with the fact that he was there before. I think it's more to do with the fact of where you have been and the current crop of players you've got. And I think it's like, that's the key. It's sometimes, the stars align, don't they? And I think he was available at the right time for this set of players and your football club. And that's one of the main reasons why you're doing what you're doing. He will understand completely what is needed tomorrow. You've got no doubt about that. He'll understand what's needed to give Chelsea a good game.
Yeah, he just, sometimes you moan about him, but then you do realise often he gets it right. It's weird sometimes with Moyes. As I said, he just bags points. And sometimes you think, should we have done that? But he knows what he's doing. He just shows experience in the Premier League to bag points. And it's not always the prettiest, but
it's completely the opposite to Maresca. Maresca is like Marmite to our fan base, and that's really difficult because not everybody trusts what his decisions are and what his judgments are. And typical Italian, he'd be very, very vague with questions and be very evasive and very, Moyes just tells it as it is, really. And I'm not digging the Italians out at all, because we've got a fantastic history of Italians at Chelsea. But I don't know. There's an element of trust. Big games, yes. Games like tomorrow, there's just a nagging feeling at the back of many of our heads about what teams are going to put out. Everton going to go into a low block that we struggle to break down without having a big man up front and hit us on the break. And we've seen him not being able to solve certain problems consistently, only in big games. And I'm not disrespecting Everton by saying that. That's a perceived mentality that this young team is lacking, and there's no denying that, I don't think.
It feels to me, I don't even... Go on, Paul, sorry.
I was just going to say that Chelsea are an exciting side, and they do have experience in there. A lot of these lads have played plenty of games, and then you got the likes of Enzo, you got Cucurella and Reece James, and a few of those where you're its experience. Just like when I've watched Chelsea, it's almost been, these lads have got so much skill and pace in them that it's not directed as well as you'd want it to be. So it's almost like I tell you what it's like in gaming terms. If you ever played FIFA and you come up against someone who's obviously a good player, but they'll try and take the piss, and they won't be German like, and they won't just like bang bang bang, take it to line, pull it back, goal, anything like that. They'll try this, they'll try that, they'll 1 or 2 tricks, hold on to the ball too long, and then the opposition are in their team shape. And that's why sometimes it feels as though Chelsea don't get away from the Bournemouth or the Leeds or whatever.
You're so right, Paul. You're so right.
That side is set up very well to defend against that kind of attack.
This is the biggest issue we have. I mean, you can't play gung-ho football, but like I mentioned in those 3 games, Liverpool, we started off so well, started off aggressively on the front foot. They equalised. You expect them to go on and win. We absolutely went at them and won at the end. Arsenal down to 10 men, absolutely went at them and got a draw playing with 10 men. Barcelona, big games, but we're so much more, it's bizarre, we're so much more offensively minded against probably better pedigree teams at the moment and that's only a handful of teams. It's what you do against teams like Bournemouth, like yourselves again tomorrow. These are the games that really matter to me. These are the games that we just don't seem to be able to manage consistently.
Yeah, that's it.
No point.
And well, that's the thing with Moyes, I think, is that I read someone comment, in fact, actually, it might have been from the press conference today, in the fact that if we score first, we're very good at then not conceding.
Yeah.
But if we concede first, we're not always great at coming back.
Yeah. If we concede first, we're very bad at winning. It's like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll see who gets the first goal then.
But first game, I think first goals in modern day football are so important anyway, because so many teams are able to play in a multifaceted way. You know, if you score the first goal, you just go into a low block and try to hit us on the break. You know, if we, and it's as simple as that. It's not as simple as that, but I've seen it so many times with this young side over the last 2-3 seasons. You know, and Mourinho's side would just probably go into a low block themselves, capable of knowing to wear the side down in 75 minutes, go and get a second and third goal.
Yeah,
but we haven't got that mindset really.
No, and like the Liverpool, like sometimes your strength is when you're almost on the back foot. Really, when like you said, like occasion FC and stuff like that. I remember the Liverpool game where it could have maybe gone either way. You know, and obviously it's last minute. I think you won the ball sort of halfway line and then broke.
That's it.
And that came from
Cucurella and Fernandes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
all that sort of stuff. So, you know, sometimes it's to your detriment if you are slower and a slow build up against a side. Be interesting to see what happens.
That's very much Maresca's way, possession based. You know, so many times we take corners and it ends up back at Sanchez. I'm not advocating gung ho football, but you know, get a winger gets it, turn back, go, and you know, and it really it can be frustrating knowing how we can play. Should we say that's what gets better, because some of those players, if Palmer and Esteval play together tomorrow, that would probably be the first time. And that's going to be incredibly exciting if they're able to get on the same wavelengths. They're such intelligent footballers.
Yeah, that's Sod's Law and Everton all over that. We just wait for your best 2 players.
Maybe I'm being optimistic.
I hope so.
We need to make sure we watch that. I forgot to say this on the players, but we've got history against centre-backs at the minute because obviously you watch the Newcastle game, their centre-back scored 2. We did it with Van der Ven for Tottenham as well. We let him score 2. And your centre-back as well, he's popped up with some goals. I mean, he did it when you had 10 men, Chalobah. He's really good on corners, isn't he? So we've got to be careful with him because I've seen him pop up for you quite a bit now. I don't want him
bizarrely, our corners this season have been better than they have been in the last 5 or 6 seasons in terms of
quite good.
At least putting teams under pressure. So, you know, long may that continue. But I didn't see that coming, to be fair. But that's a good point.
One of my favourite ever goals against Chelsea. Tim Cahill over a kick. Just remind you that one. Absolutely sensational. Yeah. I watched it earlier on. I put a video on TikTok of Tim Cahill, and I rewatched that one a couple of times. Tim Cahill, I just love him, and that over a kick was sensational. Especially the team that you had as well. You had absolute goats then when he did that.
Oh yeah, I mean that was an absurd team, but it's a good feature. Maybe favourite goal conceded or scored against your opponent. It's a good little feature in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say just before we go on, I was just going to say before we go on to predictions and stuff. Watched a video this week of Michael Branch, who was a young striker for
I remember
for us in the 90s and stuff. And speaking about it, I think we drew 2-2 at your place.
Yeah.
And before it was all done up and everything, Michael Branch, one of his few goals was there as well. So just a memory.
Here's a very, very little bit of local boring knowledge. James Vaughan went to the school just down the road here.
Serious?
Yeah, went to the school that my kids went to, and I went to Hill West. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I always followed his career, but again, another one that kind of just didn't quite get to the heights he could have done.
Yeah, he did all right. Youngest goal scorer in the Premiership for a little while.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was all good. All good. Anyway, Dan, our favourite part now.
It is that time of the show, people, where we normally get on with the guests, but this is where we go head to head with the guest people. It's the time you've been waiting for, score prediction time. We all know that you love a score prediction, and normally it's where we don't agree with the guests because obviously they back their team and we back ours. So it's going to be interesting. It's score prediction time. Get your score predictions in. Here we go. Right, can you just wait 5 minutes? I'm going to go and put Rocky on YouTube before I make my score prediction. No, not really. But here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Paul to give his score prediction first and his goal scorers. Then we're going to get Simon to do his score prediction.
Yeah. Have you got the wife there?
Tell you something, they're not nice in the comments, are they, Simon? They're treated you a lot better last time.
Yeah,
and then we'll
do spirit as well.
I know, it's well harsh. Put yourself out to come on here, and then we'll do my score prediction, people. Mine are the best. I do get where you're coming from with that, but let's do this. Paul's score prediction. We want score and goal scorers. I'm interested on this one. To be fair, this is a brand new game.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because, like you say, you don't know which Chelsea are going to turn up. But I think if Palmer's playing, I think that will spur them a little bit. But at the same time, might need a couple of games to sort of get back into it. So he might not even play the full game. I think we're strong enough to defensively to limit their chances, but historically it's such a bad away game for us. 30 plus years.
I can't believe that.
No, it's shocking really is, to be fair.
Yeah.
So with that on balance and us doing really well now, form is good, then 1-1 wouldn't be a bad result for us, and I think that would probably, I think a lot of us would be pretty happy with that. If we came away with anything more than that, it'd be absolutely fantastic and unbelievable and another hoodoo sort of crossed off. But yeah, I'm going to go for 1-1, same as sort of we were. Branthwaite scored header, I think, to get us a 1-1 a couple of years ago. So yeah, 1-1 for me. I think Palmer penalty for you guys. And I think Keenan Dewsbury, KDH is going to, and I think he'll still celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
It won't be one of those,
No, it's not like it was at Chelsea for 10 seasons.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So, no, and all rounds, I think most people would kind of be happy. Not Chelsea fans because they won the 3 points. But 1-1 and KDH for us.
Okay. I very much think that is probably a good call, but obviously I can't say that because I just can't. Everton will score. I think it'll be 3-1 to Chelsea. I think we'll score 2 goals. Everton will score a goal. Everyone will do you know what in their pants, and we'll get a late goal. And that's being very optimistic. I think I've got to back my team, but I think 1-1 is probably the most likely score here. And you want scorers? I'm going to go Palmer, Reece James, and Garnacho, not necessarily in that order. And for Everton, I just fancy them scoring from a corner, so I'll go Tarkowski because he's got his missus is very pretty. No, sorry. I'll go Toss. I think you're good at corner. I think
Pretty.
I didn't expect that. I just think that is the only way that we're going to win this game is to get into a more than 1 goal lead. And yes, Sims did score against us in a 1-1 draw a couple of seasons ago. Remember that?
He did.
So Sims doing well at Coventry now.
Doing very well at Coventry.
Well, Coventry doing very well. So I think
Frank Lampard.
Yeah, the legend.
Your next manager, isn't he? Will he be your next manager?
Do you know what he'd be? He would be a phenomenal director of football. He ID'd Haaland in 2019 and Anthony Gordon just as he came into Everton's first team. He gave James, Mount, Tomori, Abraham. He got Billy. Not Billy Mitchell then. Billy Gilmore.
Gilmore, yeah.
So his talent ID and football intelligence is great, but I don't think as an elite coach has he got it. But he's Chelsea's best ever player. So you've got emotion can't come into it, can it?
No, I agree. A very good championship manager.
And, I think so. I'd have him as director of that, get him involved in the football club because I think, as I say, his ability to spot a player is very, very underrated. Very, very good.
I'm glad you said Billy Mitchell because I said David James earlier on. It makes me clumsy now.
Yeah. I ain't watched EastEnders in about 15 years.
I know. We've all done it on this show, don't worry. Paul's even done it.
It's been a long week.
I was gonna like try and defend myself on the David James, but I just left it and just waited for someone else to make a hiccup as well. But we've got Billy Mitchell and David James on the show, people. No. This is a big game. My score prediction. No matter how weak your team, weaker. I don't think it's a weak team, but I know what your best team is. So I'm not going to be fooled. I love your left back. I think he's absolutely amazing.
He is.
He's unbelievable. He's tidy on the ball.
Yeah.
I've watched him for Spain. I'd love him as our left back. He doesn't lose the ball. He's like a midfielder as a left back. He reminds me of Arteta a little bit. Do you know, just so good.
Yeah, his ball return. He's got the technical abilities that a Spaniard would expect to have.
I watched him for Brighton, and when he played for Brighton, I wanted him, and you got him, so I was gutted. As your right back that you said, Gustav, I know he probably can get caught out defensively, but he's a machine. He is up and down. He's fast now. Yeah, so if he does get the better of you, in trouble. But obviously, see what Grealish can do with him. Grealish might be able to get him thinking more about going backwards. So yeah, I could go through it all. Palmer the lot. You've got some cracking players, and your striker as well. He's doing well for you. He's settled in Chelsea pretty well. He's one player that has settled in fast, scoring goals. So yeah, you are decent. So I've got to give you a little bit of respect here. And a lot of Everton fans, they're just saying, "No, we'll batter Chelsea because like this is probably a weaker Chelsea than what we've normally come up against, and we stand more of a chance." I'm going to go for
like that.
He is, though, isn't he?
It's like Mark Hughes used to be.
Yeah. I can imagine that,
Yeah.
I'm going to go for 3-1 Everton. It's not even like copying yours reverse. I just generally think I think we're going to score quite a few goals, but I can't see you not scoring, so I have to give you one. I'd love to say 3-0, but I can't do that. But I honestly do feel that we are just decent at the minute if we can turn up. 3-1. This is massive. We have to win this game. I want to do well this season. You said earlier on, where do I think we can finish? I don't really like to think about that because I just like to think, like, watch the games, and after you've watched the game, you think, you know whether your team's performing or not. You don't know, do you? You just want to do your best, and we've got to take the chance here. Come on. So 3-1. my goal scorers is I think Barry will score again. It's so good for him to get off the mark, but there's no good getting off the mark if you don't score your next game. So Barry, Dewsbury Hall, I think, will score. Not because it's against Chelsea. I just think he's playing well for us at the minute and he is scoring. And I think Illiman and Jai, because he knows he's not going to play a lot and he's going and he's going to be gutted that he's not playing and wants to keep his goals up, he'll probably score. So there you go. Dewsbury Hall, Illiman and Jai and Barry. But this is a massive game. These are good. We're good. And what a chat. I can't wait for it. I'm really excited for this game. Really
I think if they'd have rethought about the fixtures, they'd have probably put this on as a live game. I think there's a lot of interest in the football world about how Chelsea are going to react, how Everton are going to step up to the next challenge on their research. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and I think Paul, you made a point about a draw, but this league is brutal and it's about point accumulation. We all want to win games, but if you can get a point away from home and put in a good performance, that's another point, and it's a hard game out of the way. I know there's harder games than Chelsea, and I think you have to look at it in that respect. You just have to keep accumulating points and putting those performances in.
It's one of them. If you draw, like say we're playing the game and we end up drawing, it's like, I'll take it, but you don't feel good about it, do you? Because you feel like it's an opportunity missed. You just want those.
It depends the way the game plays out. Then if you're getting absolutely battered, and you're hanging on for dear life and you get a point, it's great. But I don't know.
We fight with all of them, mate. For the boys in the Royal Blue. Of course, I'm going 3-1, Brian. Don't diss it, mate. Believe he's gone 3-1 against me. I've got to give it back. Yeah, 3-1.
Tit for tat, yin and yang.
Indeed. Yeah. I think we were due to sign him in the summer. Oh, you probably already signed him. I'll show you what else we've got.
Yeah, before we finish the show, what have we got? Let's see if people are as optimistic as me, or are they a little bit worried and gone these 1-1 draws that we seem to be?
All right. Well, Rod Ross's lad started off, and he's gone 2-1 for us. Palmer for them. Grealish and KDH.
Like it. Good score by him.
Peter again, 2-1. Neto for you guys. He's a good player, Neto, to be fair. Goal for Barry. That would be good if he managed to get on the score sheet again. Little run of goals would be lovely. KDH as well. A lot of KDH love for scoring.
Yeah.
Good to have a Chelsea fan in tonight. He said 3-1 Stephen. So went with you, same as. Pause is in. I tell you what, though, Pause is giving you some respect because even though he says 5-2 to us, he would normally only give the opposition 1.
Oh, really?
Or 6 for us. And so
Merry Christmas.
I'd take that as a raging compliment, to be fair. So
I'll take it as a seasonal gift. Merry Christmas, mate.
And Garnacho always seems to do well against us. So Palmer and Garnacho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's so.
He scored that overhead kick against you, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I really like that Jingle Bells song that we're singing. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to see Everton win away. And I really like us singing that. So I'd like us to sing that again. This
Christmas number 1, definitely.
Yeah.
5-2 for us anyway. Endai hat-trick, Garner, and of course, the obligatory Pickford penalty.
He needs to go down the book. He's put a tenner on that and that'll make his Christmas.
It would, yeah. It would, bloody would, no. Sorry if it came in. 1-0 Clark, he says. Take it all day. Emma reckons 2-1 for us, Endai and KDH.
I like that, Emma. Good score.
That'd be good. Danny as well reckons 2-1. Tarky, like you said, Si, and Endai. Eugene's in, which means only one thing.
Eugene 4-1. That's what he always goes for. Same score.
It
hasn't happened yet. Could this be the one?
No, it will one day. Jack Grealish hat-trick for this one, and KDH. Ganymede, I tell you what, cracking win for the girls.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Against,
no one saw that coming.
No, unbelievable, that. As they've not been doing great this season either. So Ganymede's gone for the same result for us. That would be cracking. Nick has gone 2-2, and he loves his minutes. So we're going to go 1-0 up first. Barry's going to score. And then Esteval's going to get... equaliser 36, then KDH is going to score on the hour, and then Pedro is going to score on the 74th.
I'm not sure this side's ever come back from a goal down twice in a game. All I'd say to
I
that
don't
is,
like that either. That's nasty to be 2-1 ahead and then end up 2-2.
That would feel a little bit like a defeat then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Clarkie's 1-0 is a Barry goal. And David also goes for a 1-0 Everton. Bry has gone for 1-1. And for us, Palmer for you. David's 1-0 is Barry scoring as well. Barry on a double with Eltel, which gives us a 2-0 win. And last one is Tazul is in 1-0 to us. And where we say, Pause says, I only give them 2 because Palmer and Garnacho always up the game against them. But that's what happens when smaller clubs play bigger clubs. Good on you, Paul.
I like it, mate. Merry Christmas, mate.
Indeed. So, yeah, there are very positive, lovely score predictions.
Garnacho scares me a little bit because he scored that overhead kick against us for Man United.
Yeah.
And I know, obviously, he's playing for a different team, but you remember the team he scored against sometimes.
But equally, he could start Gittins. He could just do anything. I have no idea, literally, what is going to turn up.
Yeah, that's the scary part, isn't it? You're just still learning about him. Yeah, it's going to be an
That's
interesting
good
game.
stat.
Really,
I like
I'm
that.
looking forward to this.
That's a good stat.
Cracking start. Didn't realise that.
Yeah, that's a good stat. I like stuff like that. That's what I mean. First goals are so important in football matches these days. Particularly, I think, with a canny manager like Moyes, you can know how to frustrate the opposition, knowing as well that if we go a goal down, then Stamford Bridge is not going to be very welcoming to that level of Chelsea performance.
Where was Hazard score? Did we do Hazard score?
I'm looking back through it now.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, well found. Don't even know where that was. Oh, there we go. Yeah. 2-1, KDH and Skillyman. Oh, yeah. Before he goes to AFCON and Pedro for them. I apologise, Hazrat. I apologise. I would never miss yours out.
Yeah, these teachers are quick to give you a red pen and say you've got a question wrong, you know what I mean? But
no red pens now. That's a trigger, Dan. No red pens.
Don't say that. My wife's a teacher. You can't say that.
Is she?
Well, yeah. I feel bad for her as I do for me.
Yeah,
I don't mind taking Paul on, but I'm not taking no one's wife on because I know what my partner's like as well. So no. All right, and teacher's amazing. You know what I mean? They'll get everything right. Let's just go with that.
He's spot on, by the way. There, Paul is. So yeah, move on.
Indeed.
He's self-appointed spokesman of Chelsea Football Club. But I think the great thing about X or Twitter and these things is everyone's got an opinion, but everyone's got to respect other people's opinion, and no one's got a right to impose their opinion on other people. And that's what comes across with that guy. And he don't speak for me. I can speak for myself, as you guys can speak for yourself. It's all about just communicating it in a proper format like we are here.
Yeah. No, true enough.
You worded that quite well, actually, because I often write something and then start to get comments on it and end up muting it because I think, you know what, I can't be asked to listen to you. I don't put stuff up on Twitter to get. Some people love debates, and you'll see it, and someone will say something 2 minutes later, and I'll go back to it 2 hours later, and I'll still be having the debate, and that just gives me a headache just thinking about it. What I say, I won't change my mind. And I'll listen to what you've got to say, but I still won't change my mind. And some people really want you to change your mind, and they take it too serious. But no, I know I'm always right, Simon. I'm always right.
I thought you were married.
I'm always right.
You don't know the rules, mate. And I'm only joking. No. I think this is one of the reasons I like traveling so much, because you meet opposition fans on trains and you get chatting to them, and they're always good lads. Most people are, but people who are self-appointed spokespeople, they can speak for themselves, not other people, and that's the downside of social media. We've got all these people, he doesn't represent anything to do. I'm more than capable of discussing stuff with my own friends and with you guys in a polite and positive way.
Yeah, actually, we've been very lucky, actually, because we've made a lot of friends while we've been doing this from lots of different clubs, and we love having the likes of you back on as well. And generally, and I don't want touch wood and all that sort of stuff. Most of the Everton groups are very complimentary to each other and support each other, so that's That's how it should be. That's how it should be anyhow.
Absolutely.
It's never that deep to make it personal to me. Your football chants against each other, fair enough. It's never that deep to make it personal because I know how much I love Everton. You know what I mean? I dream about Jack Grealish most nights. I know how much I love the football club. It makes me obsessed about weird people. I'm 36 and I'm thinking of Illiman and Jai 24/7. So I know how much I love football, but I also know how much you love football for your club as well, and I understand that. And I don't go no deep. And I know we're just both family men that live a life and do what we do. So I don't get personal with football. I don't, and I don't like. I'll go at him. No, I don't do it. But
also equally about going to games. Some fans are very lucky, like I am, to go to most games. Doesn't mean that my opinion and my point of view is that worth any more than somebody that's never gone to a game. Everyone's got a right of an opinion, and you have to be respectful to that. And whilst this platform, Twitter, should we say, or X, gets a hard going, I've met some really great people like you guys on it. You can just chat football, which is what you want to do, isn't it? Because it's just a fabulous sport, and it's the best country to watch that sport. Just, what would you do in this country without football? I wouldn't be living here.
No, it's what we've got, and football is. I always say this. I mean, I studied sport at uni, and you looked into how big football was and sport was in general. Football is bigger than you'll ever know. It connects families. It connects people. Yeah. We look at the Everton now. They went to the singing to people in hospital beds, singing to people that have just had stuff, and that's when it makes me proud. When it's bigger than football, where your football players go and help someone that's gone through, so someone that's got cancer, and you see the players helping. Jack Grealish is a gentleman off the pitch. The stuff he does is fantastic. That's when I love football, when it's more powerful than football.
A lot of footballers do it without any publicity as well. I know that for a fact. Only from Chelsea side, I'm sure it's the same for Everton. They actually do stuff and don't publicise it, and the fans do as well. We do a sleep out at Chelsea for the homeless in West London every March international break. And you get to speak to the ex-veterans who are asleep. It's bloody amazing, and all we're doing is sleeping in a sleeping bag under the East Stand. But it's almost like you're trying to raise a bit of money, and everyone is so happy to contribute to that. It's a football-related thing. Like you say, it transcends all barriers.
Yeah. It's a lovely.
We've seen it loads.
Yeah, there was. I think it was the beginning of this week. The story was a family unfortunately lost everything in a house fire, all that sort of stuff, and people rallied round them, and they visited the club, and the club couldn't do enough for them. Really, it's stuff like that. It's absolutely it's huge, and that's why we want to keep those elements of our clubs alive, because if they move too far away from that and just become that corporate machine, that's a bit faceless and a bit cold and everything else, then you fall out of love with the actual club, isn't it? So
absolutely. My mother died just a couple of months ago, and I didn't broadcast it around. One of my close friends at Chelsea mentioned I was doing my mum's eulogy one Saturday morning, got a letter, and it was from Reece James, and it just I'm not suggesting he wrote it, he signed it. It was just it was a letter of commiseration. But things like that, I sobbed for about 2 hours. It just really got to me. That one of my fellow mates at Chelsea had written it, had got somebody to do it, and he'd done it. And it's just people say it's only a letter, but they don't. That's where they don't understand the impact of having that letter meant. And that's again what I was saying. It just transcends. Thank you, Emma. That's very beautiful if you'd say so. But anyway, I just think we have to look at the sport in a positive way.
Yeah, true.
You're right. It means so much what they can do sometimes. They don't realise how much it can do. Emma said here, this is going off the topic, but we don't like to ignore comments because we love people that listen to our show. And Emma, she often asks about my partner and stuff. And she said, how was Chloe down? So I can't ignore it. Well, I brought her some jammers for Christmas and was going to wrap them up, and she's got them on already. So that's how she is, mate. You know what I mean? She's got them on already. So at the minute, I've still got to get Christmas present now because she's already got jammers on.
The thing is, Dan, in the manual, that means that you have to buy another present that she can open the day.
I know. I said to her, I goes, I'm going to get those jammers early just because I know I'll get you something else, but then at least I've got something something there just in case I do get nothing else. So she's got them on now. She gave me that guilty look. Can I wear them, Matt? They look cozy. And I did let her wear. Yeah, she has got the new pajamas. How expensive are pajamas nowadays? Am I getting old or something? Or 20 quid for a pair of pajamas?
20 quid, you cheapskate. Honestly, God, get her some slippers as well.
Yeah, well, mate, bloody hell. Paul's a rich man, isn't he? But no, she's good. Thanks for asking. We are a little family here. Thanks, everyone, for listening in. Where can they find you, Simon? We always love you. We have gone a bit over on this show. We're on time. But one thing I will say is if you listen through it, I think we've put a lot of good football talk in this. I really do. I've had a really good time on this. We've talked about not just Everton versus Chelsea. We've talked about how football is, what's going on, how we feel about football. There's been loads of really good content in this to listen to, people. And you've all been with us throughout the comments. Look at them all saying £20 on jobs. Are they saying that's expensive or are they saying I'm a cheapskate, little buggers? Right. Simon, where can they find you? I always get sick.
On at Rich Kirby, and that's Rich as in short for Richard. Doesn't mean I'm dripping with cash. I'm not buying my wife £20 pajamas, so I'm not that brave. At SI Rich KIRBY, and I'm on Instagram as well, but I can't remember what that is. I don't really bother with it. It's just pictures. But
that's also in the banner that's going across the bottom now. Go and watch, go and join, go and subscribe.
Yeah, that's.
But it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. It's one of the always a couple of highlights of the year for me. I really love it. I'm sorry about the technical issues with this blinding light and my phone blowing up and stuff. And also I spilled a pint of water over me at the start as well. But I'm such a professional at this. I never let on about that.
No one noticed. So no one noticed.
And the dog scratching. The dog's asleep at the back of me as well. And letting out trade secrets.
They don't see what goes on behind. I've done Lucasade before, and it was sticking all over me throughout.
No, I can believe it.
They don't see what goes on sometimes. Yeah, they don't realise the effort that goes on. People, we do this for you. We bring you together. Right, everyone. That is the end of the show. I've really enjoyed it. The problem is, I wish we was playing tonight now because I'm proper up for this game. But tomorrow, the big game, we will be live straight after, as we always are, with the match reaction. I'm so excited and I'm shitting myself at the same time. That's probably the best way I can put it. Up the top is, and cracking to have you on, Simon. Going to drop the banner now. Here we go. Where's the banner? Got to be singing that song, people. You know what I mean? Jingle bells. Oh, what fun it is to see Everton win away. Up the top is